Hey,
Hey, yeah, thanks for joining. It's not like there's a schedule for this recording or anything, but it's always nice to talk. Uh, but I don't. That being
oh,
said, we could talk about whatever we want, or as I said, we could play one of the games that we have, or there's this game called Web Fishing that's like $5, and it's like a game that's kind of designed for just like you just kind of do fishing in the game. The fish get points. You can buy like little power ups to get better fish. And it's kind of like a good social game, I guess. But whether or not
okay,
you want to go through
okay.
the
Let me see. I've got $5 to spare. I think, maybe. Let's see. I think I've seen you play it. It looks like an interesting game. It reminds me of. I don't know exactly what it reminds me of. It's like reminds me of web games from like the early 2000s.
yeah, especially with the name Web. Like I actually, my sister first showed it to me, and I thought like with the name Web, I was like, oh, is this finally like a game in the browser that's just about like dropping in and doing fishing? But as far as I know, it's over Steam. Like that's the way I play it over Steam. I don't think there's any sort of like, oh, yeah. I mean, if there was some kind of web version, I imagine there'd be like accounts or because it costs money. But at some point, I was like, it would be cool if it was like in the browser with no account, and you could buy like consumables to because you can like styling your character is like a big thing, I guess, in the game, part of the social stuff, and so they could make it like free to play, I guess, and sell like consumables or cosmetics. But they haven't done that yet. I don't or have any plans to.
Yeah. Let me see here.
Yeah, I just left my character default, but then I joined after I played with my sister. A few days later, I dropped into just like a random public server, and then someone like came up to me in the game and asked me like if I knew how to like customize the character, and I got the impression they were like, uh, like walking around with the default character is like not super cool because they want to be like more. They want to see see everyone like they want to see cool stuff like around. So then
Don't have
I made
it.
my own
I
little
like that.
style. I styled my character. Then but yeah, the game does a good job. Like you go to like a dirt pile, like the lowest tier bait is like worms. You go to a dirt pile and get like 5 worms for free, but you can only carry 5 at a time, so that means like you can only catch like 5 fish before you have to go back to the nearest dirt pile. But like the island is fairly small and like navigatable, and there's these blue mushrooms that you can like touch and they propel you like so you can kind of fling yourself across the island. There's like a beachfront or ponds. You can stand on like a bridge and fish off the bridge, or there's like a dock, and then like occasionally you'll catch these like gigantic fish. I've never caught one, but they're like larger than you would think would make sense for like the art style in the game. Uh,
We're gonna call one today.
yeah.
That's what's gonna happen.
But then there's power ups like you can buy like a can of Coke for like money that you catch the fish, you sell the fish, you go to the vending machine, you buy a Coke. The Coke gives you like 5 minutes of like extra XP or extra money when you sell your fish. So you can kind of get like a ball rolling in that sense, and that's kind of a well thought out loop that they have there. Like it's not only the Coke either. There's like well, I guess you can upgrade your rod and your bait and stuff. I haven't gotten into that stuff yet. And you have like some kind of level as you catch fish, you get experience, and you have a title, I guess. But the whole game is like chat. There's no like in-game voice as far as I know, and that's like a decision
So
I
it's
think
just
they made as well. Because I think it is designed to just be like a bunch of strangers fishing, and so chat is like way easier to moderate in that regard.
yeah. Then it turns into what's that VR one? Um, there's
Like
that VR
VR
game, VR chat.
chat, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. How that one. Some platforms like seem very resilient and that they'll survive. But like I would imagine crazy stuff is going on in VR chat. But it's weird when like you never see a single article where anyone's like, "Hey, there's kids on this like thing," and they're or whatever. And you just it's like I guess there isn't, but that's impossible. So then like what's are they just doing
No,
a
there
killer
are
job of
probably kids
moderation or
on
something? Because isn't it
that.
like I don't exactly know how VR chat makes money, but moderation I think is expensive, and so then you'd imagine the stories would come out that like this is not sustainable or something, or if it is, then it's like how did they do it? You know, it's like a mind-blowing thing of like it's low cost, it's well moderated, like then it's like confusing, or like they've invented something new.
It's probably just not moderated, honestly.
Yeah,
Or actually,
it's like some sites like
I've probably
Telegram was
played,
like unmoderated.
no, I've played it before. VR chat, there it is. Let's play 2022. From what I remember, it was, yeah, it was unmoderated. It was really weird. It was a weird game. Okay.
Yeah, once you
I'm in
launch
the
the
game.
game, you're in the game.
I've launched it. Let me just actually set all the right settings first. I need to use the fact that I have a 4090 for some reason, you know, like
Just in
to
case.
enable these
Yeah,
things,
if in case you
you
catch a really
know.
big fish, you want to make sure that
Yeah, the polygons are,
yeah.
you know, have as many pixels as possible. Oh no, it broke. Oh no. Oh no.
The whole operation
I think I actually broke it. Um,
broke
but yeah,
the card or
like
the
I
game.
made the screen too big of
Mm.
a resolution. We're good now. Okay, I'm in. And go to
Can
join
you
game.
see? Are you Guess Who?
Yeah, I'm Guess Who.
That yeah, should that should send an invite. Yeah, I just made like a public game with max 4 players, so it'll be us, and then maybe people would show up. I don't know how aggressive people are at joining random servers. I think I saw a lot of servers. One time I scrolled down like the public lobby list, and there was a bunch of them. And actually, they have descriptions. Like they said, this server is like quiet and chill. This server is like very conversational. And I that was kind of cool to see. I never thought about that. That like people would be looking for like to group themselves voluntarily by like how much they want to. I mean, I could imagine you could even do like a role play sort of thing by self people who self select for that.
Yeah, I don't know, it feels like it makes sense for a game like this. I just caught my first fish.
Oh, you got in that fast? How did you
Yeah,
even figure out how to do that?
I'm
Oh,
going through like a
oh, the
tutorial.
tutorial. Yeah, so the
Like
fish thing, when it says reel in, you just hold the mouse down. But when you get to those little bars, you have to click to like reduce the number, and then you can just hold the mouse whenever there isn't like a bar that it's like stuck on.
hmm.
That's because yeah, I was like rapidly clicking for a while until I realized you could just hold it.
You have to hold it for part of it, and then don't you need
Yeah,
to click after?
yeah. Whenever it gets to one of those bars, you have to click. And my sister told me that as you upgrade, each individual click counts for more numbers, so that allows you to like crush those bars faster. And there are some like the harder the fish, the more the bars. And I've at least caught like at least one fish that I couldn't catch because there was too many like numbers. I don't
Joking.
remember. I feel like I didn't go through a tutorial actually. Somehow, it never offered that to me.
Oh my god. That was a lot of numbers.
Still in the tutorial too. It just tries to like
Yeah,
execute.
yeah, they want you to catch a fish. I got a walleye, 103 centimeters.
I just caught a bowfin, 90 centimeters.
There we go. Okay, I sold my fish. Let me leave now. Okay, there we go. I'm in. Is there a way to look at a map?
I'm not aware
There you
of
are.
one. Yeah, check out my hat and my.
That's a vibe. The glasses and the hat. What's the image on the hat? Is it like
I don't
a
know. I wanted a hat with
it?
no image.
Hold on. It has a fish on it and then some kind of weird
Yeah, who did
writing
it
on it.
say? Yeah, even in the store, it doesn't tell you. It doesn't actually tell you that the hat is going to have an image on it, and it's hard to zoom into them.
Hmm. They're always talking about making a web game. Like
Mm-hmm.
what's what's stopping you from making a web game right now?
I sort of went through this thing where, like, like Godot. I was making good progress with Godot because I that's the last game I shipped was like Godot, and it was on the web. It was 3D, but the size of Godot is kind of large, and I really want like an experience where the game feels extremely light and like loads quickly and doesn't take up very much memory or like things like that. And so then I sort of decided I had to use like 3JS if I wanted like the absolute minimal game. But then immediately the problem is like you don't have any tools with 3JS.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I've been learning just a bit about Blender, and then I did some experiments where I exported like a GLTF file to get like the model into 3JS, and I confirmed that like lights that I place will make it through. And then I sort of wondered a bit about shaders, like if I want like shaders in 3JS, I have to write them in 3JS, which is doable. But then I can't really like preview them with Blender. Like ideally Blender would be like my whole, I would design everything in Blender and then just import it and then like wire up the controls in 3JS and it would be good. But then that's not super easy. And I did some experiments where like, cause there's like a preview, like AWSD, like first person camera controller in Blender that you can like walk around your model with. And so then I like sort of made the FOV, like I made the FOV the same and the height the same in 3JS and Blender, so that like what I see in Blender is what would kind of be reflected in the actual like production game. But it was not. It's interesting because it's sort of like I'm sort of going back and forth like just in my head about like what kind of stuff will I need in a game? Like what if I want a door to open? Then I guess I could like create a door. Maybe I could have some syntax where I like name the layer in Blender in some way that then like I just detect in 3JS and wire that up to some kind of like area. Like I could just make all the physics boundaries and the areas like shapes, and then some of them would be invisible but would count as like trigger areas when they get to 3JS. But then I always keep thinking like it's like, but what if I want like to position things accurate? Like I guess I could use like sort of little waypoint markers like at different points in Blender. And so I think I sort of feel like I'm making progress, like sort of figuring out the stuff that I need to do in Blender and how it will make its way to 3JS. But then I keep wondering like maybe I do, because I always I'll have these creative ideas that can be done but require a bit of like something I didn't foresee, like in terms of wiring things up in a certain way, or like confirming, like sort of placing objects and then confirming in a preview that they're going to work. And if I build something out in like Blender and then realized I need some like custom logic, it would be annoying to then just have to like hard code that in JavaScript with no ability to like preview the game or try to like build it in Blender and import it. So I kind of just got lost and stuck a bit like trying to figure out what are the tools that I want to use, because like I'm pretty sure the end result is I want like a super lightweight, like simple game that just has like fog, lighting, some procedural music. And even like, actually that's a good point too, like the procedural music, like Godot has a procedural music thing, but maybe it like lags a bit more and it seems like a bit less capable than the web audio API and the JavaScript libraries for that. And you can't really easily like plug those into Godot. So if I want like just the freedom of the web audio API, that works with 3JS also. So then I guess I'm kind of just feeling like the tools don't have like great support. Like I like the experience that 3JS could deliver, and then I just need to figure out like maybe I need to invest a bit of time in like building very small tools, just like simple tools that let me place and build the kind of game that I want. But then there will be like limitations, or like, like only certain. I sort of predict that I'll feel immediately like limited by whatever I'm able to do with like Blender, and then importing it. Whatever I'm easily able to do, that will feel like limiting, but
Yeah.
maybe not. Like I think there's enough space there where like, yeah, it's interesting to think. Like I feel like I would be capable of so much more interesting little fun things if I'm working in Godot, but I just don't like how the end result feels kind of heavy weight sometimes. So that's sort of, I keep going back and forth with those kind of things, and then it, yeah. And then the longer I spend not working in Godot, then I forget like how to do everything, and then I can't like just be like, I can't be in a state of flow. I have to like relearn like all the ways to like set up different nodes or something like that.
I mean, like, I've never actually used Godot before. I've used like Unity and Epic Games, Epic. Is that what it is?
Yeah, Epic.
Unreal, Unreal.
Oh,
That's what it
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Um, and they were fine. I assume Godot is, the open source version of both of those, so they'll have the same things. But I feel like, I don't know. I don't know much about game dev, but I feel like if there's a game idea that's there, it's like there's like a world where you can make it without a lot of the like fancy features sometimes. But it depends. Like, oh, I fell in
Mm.
the water. Um, and I feel like that. Like every time I've tried to make a game, I end up getting caught up in like the fun of building the framework and stuff like that, and like trying to get it right. And I know that that's like the wrong thing to do, but I think it's also the part that I enjoy, so I end up getting caught doing that.
Mm.
Um, but I don't know. I think it's like if you figure out what the idea is, does it actually matter like what the actual framework is?
Yeah, it
Or
doesn't. I feel pretty capable of like whatever story I want to tell, I can tell it with whatever constraints, and sometimes like the more constraints, the better.
yeah.
So then, yeah, I guess lately I've had a little bit of a lack of motivation. Like there's been a couple nights where I have time and I'm sitting there just being like, should I get this like started up? Like, because I have bits of, like, I found a 3JS project that has the first person controller that I want. Like the character can jump, they collide with things, they have like a capsule collider on the character. And so I took that demo and I like reworked it so that it's like in the state that the controller works and it's ready to go for like my kind of projects. There's an interesting thing though where like it's a little bit like based on physics, the way that interactions occur. And so, for example, like you can actually throw balls, like that's part of the demo. And I noticed like if you throw a ball at your feet, you can just like launch yourself like really far. And that kind of stuff worries me because it's like I like to feel like if I made like a walking simulator, all you're doing is walking around. Maybe you can't even jump. But I like to have a sense that like the game is closed, and if I do like a little bit of QA, I'll have this like certainty that the game will feel very solid, and there won't be like little corners you can get stuck in, or like a ledge that like bumps you up and then you start floating or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes whenever like if the game doesn't have like a flat terrain, if there's like levels or stairs or something, or even platforms you have to jump on, then it starts to feel like the world uh like it's not like a closed system that's very solid and smooth and lightweight. It starts to feel like there's a little bit of wackiness like with the physics, and you can see through a wall or something if you turn the camera the right way. Uh and once that enough of that stuff gets in there, it cheapens like the game and the seriousness of it or something. And so then I start thinking like, oh, maybe I should write my own like first person controller that just moves the player on a flat floor, but I really like the idea of having like stairs and multiple like floors and stuff like that. So then but then I think like in 3JS, it's hard to like, there's no like floating camera you can fly around in. So if you have like a capsule collider, there's this open question of like, well, like if I run at a small ledge or a staircase, I'll just bump up the stairs in a nice way. And that's related to like I guess the radius of the capsule that my player character's on and like the gravity rate that is being calculated. And I don't have like precise, like if I then start designing in Blender and I'm like, okay, I'm going to put a ledge here and I want to put like the highest ledge that the player can jump to. The question is like, well, how high is that? And then there's no like, it bothers me a lot that there's no way to like precisely calculate that. It's just like make a couple of ledges and then do a test to see like what is approximately the highest. And that doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like an exact way to design the game, or else you have to make like a complicated tool that could like calculate that. But even then it wouldn't be super accurate because you can like cheese, like any physics system can be like cheesed a little bit unless you like do so much debugging. And so that I get like stuck in those kind of things where it's just like I want something very simple and crisp, but then it's like I wouldn't mind having a staircase, and that immediately implies like, well, I'll take this like fully baked first person controller, but then even something like, so I noticed this first person controller, like when you let go of the arrow keys, your character slides for like more than I would want them to. So then what I should do is like increase the friction when there's no keys being held. And so then I have to sort of just like throw in a bunch of if statements that like check to make sure no keys are held. And if not, then like increase the friction. Yeah. But then I become like, then it's like, well, how much is like the right amount of stuff to have, like some friction, but not too much. And what if they're on a slope and like, I just get too, yeah, it's just like it's not like clean and orderly and predictable. It just becomes like, it's like, well, I don't have control of this project anymore. Like I can't deliver like the pure experience I want. It becomes like the code, like there's a bunch of code in one file that was like from the demo that I'm just like, I've wrapped and I just like call into it and I don't really know how it works. And it just it feels like a project with like code debt already somehow. And that's sort of, yeah, that's like the mental process that I kind of go through, and that like zaps my motivation, because then I think like, it's like, you know what, I shouldn't be like, patching things together and half baking it and trying to make something work. I should just use Godot and just accept that like, that's like not going to be able to deliver like exactly the kind of like product that I want, but it'll have like full support and also shaders and everything.
I mean, like, the thing is, it's like, you're not going to get it right the first time, right? Like, I think that's one thing. It's like, I feel like often if you, like, strive for exact perfection, like, it will never quite be there. But if you, like, are like, yeah, I'm okay if this slides a bit, that's not great, I'm just going to add that to, like, the to-do later. And then you eventually get to it. Like, that's not so bad, right?
Yeah. I think there's stuff that I notice like I'm bad at like putting something off to the side and then moving on to something else. It just takes a lot of energy to like compartmentalize, or whatever it's called, like one thing that I'm thinking about and just kind of like leave it until later, or like accept a suboptimal conclusion. But yeah, that's sort of.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
And I was gonna mention this other thing too of like, sometimes, like there's this weird thing where I'll put like a single cube and then a light in Blender, and immediately like it looks pretty nice because just the default shaders in Blender are like pretty nice. But then when that gets into 3JS, it looks like too flat, and so then I immediately have this question of like, I sort of need, like, I wish I could just grab the shaders from Blender, which I could probably, and then rework them to like look like a subtle, like nice default effect, like in 3JS. But like a lot relies on that, because if I like boot my game up in in 3JS, and it doesn't like sort of invoke the same feelings. Like this is a problem of like you can put a light and get it the right brightness and put like a few like planes in Blender, and then like that starts looking good right away and you get like a certain like vibe from it. But then when you import that into 3JS, like the light will be a different brightness. Like it's actually like way different. You have to like change the brightness. But then the way shadows fall and the way light hits the surfaces is like different by default, and it doesn't give like the same vibe. And so that's a difficulty too, is that I make things that like give me the right sort of like meditative vibe in Blender, and then I just can't get them to 3JS without like sort of maybe I could like find someone who's rewritten the 3JS or like the Blender shaders into 3JS, but then it wouldn't feel like my own like code. It would just feel like I just grabbed something and made it look nice for free or something.
Yeah, but I feel like that's also a common thing. Like, oh, it's like I don't know. I mean, maybe there's been games that have developed without like default assets too, right? But it's like I don't know. I think there's like value to be like, okay, I'm gonna make a game that's like as simple as possible, and I'm just gonna test the idea of the game. Okay, cool. The game, like the idea of the game works. Like, where do you go from here, right?
Yeah. And then you mean like where do you go from there in terms of like adding to the design of the game to like make it
Exactly.
more?
No, not just for the design of the game, but like, do you like do more? Do you like make sure that the first person camera is right? Like all that kind of stuff.
Actually, I modeled like my childhood house in Blender, and
Oh damn.
I have like it went well so far. Like I just have a bunch of like flat planes, and now I'm envisioning this thing where like it would be cool to drop that into a 3JS experience and be able to like walk around. Like I just need to like it's all just like gray rectangles that are like the right proportions to sort of work out like the stairs, the walls, the floor, like the general like the plot of land around the house. I would need to just like throw in like windows and just grab like do like a simple shader that does like a translucent like window, and then I also need to like pick basically then I need to texture like I need to pick probably simple textures that are just like approximately the right color for all the walls and stuff. And then like a skybox sometimes is difficult because it's hard to make like a minimalist skybox sometimes like but then I sometimes if you take like a really high definition cool looking skybox, it sort of just looks too good, and then like when compared to the rest of the game. But this is something that I kept thinking like maybe this will be quick, like maybe I can just like throw together the house, like pick colors, throw it up, and it would be mostly it would just like be for my family. I think they would find it cool. But then yeah, like a deeper thought was like it would be cool, I'll take some of my memories and like tell like an audio story. Like if you enter certain rooms, you'll get told like a story of a memory that I have that's like related to that room or something, and that actually starts to get kind of like interesting sounding. And maybe like the basement, the dark basement being like creepy, and like sort of exaggerate that maybe in the game, like make the hall like the sort of the shelves in the basement like or like this little hallway we had in the near the shelves in the basement like go way farther than it used to, like as I would maybe imagine it like as a kid, that it would like extend forever into the darkness or something. And then I was kind of excited about that, so then that's what I would maybe like I just didn't have much motivation to like advance that, but I have at least the model like made, and now I need to I guess just add like a layer of textures and polish and lighting and the windows, and maybe like one piece of furniture, like simple furniture in each room, like a table or a blocky like couch, and then I think it would be enough.
Like a horror game in your childhood house.
Only the one like the only horror part would be that I would want to like do something to invoke the same feeling that like if I walk down in the basement with the lights off, uh, there was one like there was sort of like a darkness behind this one shelf that was like a scary place to go. Uh, but there was also one of the stories that I want to tell is like the closet under the stairs. Like you would go down the stairs, go into the back room that had like sort of a stone cold floor, and then under you could like loop around and go to this like closet under the stairs, and we stored like a bunch of like ski equipment there. And so it always had like a sort of a faint like musty smell that you would get if you like you're sweating in the ski stuff. The ski stuff's always like, you know, you wash it but it's a bit damp and it's all packed in there really tight, and it's like under the stairs you have this little like a sort of a wooden smell, and it's like a small closet. And so then when you go in there you're hit like with this like very distinct like smell. And actually it was funny because when I first built the model, I went into first person mode and I ran down the stairs and I looped around and went into that closet, and I actually like it invoked like the sensation that I was smelling like inside of that closet, like the smell that I remember when I just looped around there, and everything was just like gray rectangles, but it like triggered that smell like memory. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like there's something interesting there that like there's enough here to like invoke, you know, memories that I had or something like that.
Yeah. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm just got something caught in my throat. There you go. That's I don't know.
The other,
I think it's cool
yeah,
that you can. Yeah, no, go ahead.
uh, there'll be like a min max doc lightning, like a 3 minute documentary contest again this year. And so I was thinking like uh maybe my documentary would be like a 3 minute documentary of me making that model in Blender, and then like you know, entering the model and sort of telling a brief story. And so then I was like, that also would motivate me to like advance the project. Like I sort of always am looking for like little external motivation opportunities, and that's like a good one to like, you know, sit down and finally do the project if there's like a 1 month deadline to
Yeah.
produce some kind of item of content. So sometimes I'll be like, oh whatever, like eventually this thing will happen and I'll have motivation. But then yeah, sometimes it's like I spend a long time like having an idea before I I just do that like single weekend where I advance the thing by like 90%. Uh, and it's like a weird timeline.
Mm. I think it's good to have like a forcing function like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, having a reason to be able to like, okay, I have to, get ready and get things organized for this. But
Yeah, it
I'm
was
having
cool
a
too.
conversation
Oh yeah, go
with
ahead.
this person. I said I'm having a conversation with this person.
Oh,
Did
in
you
text, yeah.
see?
I saw someone
So
else in here. They visited me like on the bridge.
yeah, they got me onto the island in the middle. So they got me on this little rock in the middle. If you come to like the big lake, you can kind of see it. Big
Oh
lake
yeah.
near the sea, I think.
They said the first message it's like, why are you crying? Watched a nice movie probably.
Yeah.
What movie?
Name an artist you like that has high ratings.
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar. Why don't you just run in and say Kendrick Lamar? Go for it. Um, does it show up like
Yeah,
that
I think
far?
so. So KENDRICK. Do you think?
Oh, Kendrick Lamar? Yeah, something like that.
I wonder if I can gift you guys items.
I think this guy's a pro. Looks like a pro.
Oh, he
I
rated
have
them.
rated all of his main albums.
I like watching like analysis videos. I've watched a couple episodes of a podcast or analysis videos of like Kendrick's different songs, but I haven't really. I don't have a great. I just know like his top 3 or 4 songs.
What's TPAB and JKMC?
There's GK is like the car. His most recent album, I think, features like a car that is called the something car, and that was a Super Bowl car. TPAP.
Oh, interesting. I'm gonna say the thing that my girlfriend is addicted to. It's Taylor Swift.
He's like, what kind of server is this? I guess like Kendrick and Taylor Swift like respect each other, so they're not unrelated artists.
Yeah. Wait, what? I'm kind of surprised.
So he's like rated some songs.
Yeah, I guess so. An interesting guy. Or gal. I don't know how I get someone with the most popular musician on planet Earth.
Oh, he like launched himself onto the rock in the center.
Oh, I'll tell you how he did it. So he placed furniture and then he placed one piece on top of another and then he used that to like essentially get here. And what he did is he made me go into the flag, which transports you to some other little island, and then he put the flag on this for me. And I came out, and then I was on the island with him.
But you already have like anime eyes.
I know. That's why I was asking me if I was crying. What's another artist?
Mustard. But that guy makes beats. I think he also has his own songs. There's Future. There is Doja Cat.
Oh, Doja Cat. Doja Cat is interesting.
Doja Cat is going to be at Outside Lands, which is in Golden Gate Park in August. But the cheapest way to go there is to buy a 3-day pass for like $500. But I only want to stand in the middle of a sea of people for 10 minutes and then I want to leave. But I want to pay $500 for that.
He's gonna, if you go into the red flag, he will bring you to the island.
Yeah, but I only have 5 worms and then I have to go back though.
Oh no, there's a thing to refill bait on the island.
Wow.
Yeah. Just get in there. He's right behind.
So I go E.
And then don't come out yet. He'll tell you when.
Oh, because we can go into the flag, right, to get to this island.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is there a green or is it blue mushroom on the island?
I don't know. Go for it.
It's funny how people find these little like things they know how to do.
Yeah. What's another artist that you'd suggest? This person has rated.
I could tell them that I'm recording that I'm actually screen recording, and so like this conversation, typically we would post it unlisted under this podcast, but I started I still call them recordings because none of the stuff that I'm doing is kind of like an official podcast, but this other podcast that I'm calling Game Development in Process I did one
Yeah.
episode with this other guy. And since we're like playing a game and talking about games, I could make this like episode 2 of that category, I guess.
I mean, yeah, sure. Like, I mean,
I don't know how
we could do
he.
something.
I guess once we leave this, yeah, there's no way to like send him a link or something or.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Let's let this. I don't know what I've said. I don't want to offend them. Um, but like, let's let them discover it naturally one day in the future. It'd be fun.
Yeah, this could be like a 5-year-old, and
Exactly.
when the world is a different place, they'll find this video and remember their innocent days of fishing and rating albums.
Oh, what's their username? Catfisher. Catfisher. Catfisher.
Maybe they're actually like 40 then, and like a. That makes sense though. He is a cat and a fisher. There's never been a better use for that name. Wait, that's his title. Our title is Scout. He's cat. He has no name. Yeah, he does have no name. And even in chat, it's empty string.
Oh yeah, he has an empty name. No, you're no name.
Maybe Catfisher is like a high title.
Maybe.
You can make yourself smaller by drinking like shrink potion. You can make yourself 2 sizes smaller or 2 sizes bigger.
I see. What a small snail. This is a chill little game. I like it. It's very calming. If that makes sense.
Via mail.
Oh, I see the inbox.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, I sent you Catcher's Cola.
Oh, nice. Those catchers call it. Oh, thank you. Drink it. Okay. I'm just gonna drink it. I'm not gonna ask questions. I'm not even gonna read what it does. I'm just gonna. Okay, no, I read what it does.
Oh, I was wondering how many. I guess you got 3 of them.
Yeah,
I was
got
wondering.
3.
I don't think there's a way to like. There's no UI to like select less, but it doesn't matter. I actually have deluxe cola for myself. Oh yeah, his lure is like a lily pad.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, maybe to catch the big fish, you have to fish in like the ocean.
I think so. That would make sense. But yeah,
That guy.
going back to the conversation on making games, like, um, oh my gosh, you left in the game, and I felt like I needed to wait until you were back. That's
Our psyches are merging with the simulation.
what level are you? Asking.
Uh,
I think you're like 9, right?
Rank 9, yeah.
We're going back to the conversation on games. Yeah, I think it's cool to be in like a city where there's like lots of these kinds of events happening too, like SF. Oh, we've always got like, groups and stuff, people doing stuff, events happening, stuff like that. Oh my God, what
Whoa,
was that?
alligator. Actually, there's a couple of like secrets around the island. There's like things you can find. I found like a
I think I found
void
a
hole.
group song.
You found
Oh, a
a
void.
Yeah, I went into like a void and I was in this like void and I fished there and then I just started running until I fell off a cliff and then I was back in this world. But then it said like you found one of 5 of them or something. So that's a neat feeling that there's like you can walk around and stumble on something and then learn that there's like more to this than originally thought, but like not it's not like so much more that it breaks like the casual feeling. It's just like there's a couple secrets that are cool to it makes it just worth it to like wander around and look at stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he asked me what level I am.
Yep.
Does he make that meow sound when he wants attention?
I don't know. Now he doesn't know if you're 9 years old or if you're level 9.
And because I had like the improper casing on the I'm, it's like
Yeah, I'm like, now he's scared. He's like, oh shit.
it's like yeah, we're in a gang. We run the city.
So I'm using Google Ads for the first time,
Yeah.
contributing to I'm contributing to your salary.
It's like I
It's
did
actually kind
notice a 1% increase this year.
of Yep, that was me. My 81 dollar a day. Sorry, 81 cents per day. Um, uh,
You're
wait, are we
making?
friends IRL? Are we buddies IRL? That's what he's asking.
Oh yeah, what counts as IRL?
Exactly. We've met IRL.
We're hybrid
But
buddies.
hybrid buddy. You
Yeah,
have to
it's
say
like
that one.
yeah, it's where you. I have to say that one.
No, no, no. Hold
Oh,
on. I'm trying to get a. Oh my god. Oh my god. I had a fish that was like 14, 18, and 27. That's crazy. Big fish.
did you make it?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I could not do that many clicks.
Yeah, I think the only way is to upgrade the click power. I've never seen how to do that yet. Maybe just if better rods do it.
Now we're gonna confuse him. He thinks you're 9.
I'll just keep using big words.
Yeah.
I feel like uh whoa, yeah, he's 16, 16, 18, 16.
Yeah, that one. I don't know how you do that.
That's pretty exciting though that like whatever it is, it'd be cool to actually catch that. It's like some mystery.
We'll never really know. So have you seen White Lotus? I was watching it
Yeah, the
on
first
Discord.
season and the second, or like half of the second season, but then I just didn't. The first season was pretty good, but like unsettling. I think it's supposed to be. And then yeah, second season kind of didn't seem realistic to me. Like it was kind of like a couple of the like, it's like two smart characters, two dumb characters, but the two smart characters are not smart enough to like communicate clearly, even though like they clearly are able
What are the
to.
two smart characters?
Uh, like the introverted like guy who runs at 6 a.m. every morning and then neglects
Oh
his wife who's like clearly into him, but like his character is written to have some kind of high functioning autism in which he doesn't interpret those signals. But also, why doesn't she just explicitly say that then? Because she clearly is smart enough to realize he probably has a condition like that. And so it's just like the whole show
How,
is
how
like
far in the how far in the season did you make it? Like halfway through?
when I guess like the two women go to the house and then unexpectedly like
Oh,
spend the night.
wait! Don't say anything else. Don't say anything else. That's literally what I was just watching.
I think
So
that's
like they just arrived at the
yeah.
house and they're like,
Oh
"Oh,
yeah.
we're gonna spend the night." That's where I'm at.
Yeah, and then to me it's like this is like they should know by that point that this other couple is a bit strange. It's no big deal to spend a night somewhere. It's like, yeah, this person has anxiety. They don't have their toothbrush and stuff, and that's a bit annoying. But like, this is going to be a funny story when everyone, like, I guess the tension in the air is someone dies, which I have no idea who that is because they show that at the first episode. And so I guess the idea is like, it should be no big deal, but there is a death that we have to like sort of solve. So any character we're invested in, that's what I guess should be stressful.
Forgot
So I
that
guess
someone
maybe,
died.
yeah, I think I almost forgot that like they teased the death at the beginning.
Completely forgot about that.
Because yeah, I guess, but then the characters themselves don't know that. Uh, but yeah, I guess there was also tension around like being like faithful to your partner and like uh and so
Yeah.
then yeah, and sort of, but it's weird, it's like, but these people seem smart and progressive, and like even if they made a mistake, like it's like, well, they were under the influence of drugs, like I'm sure they could like move past it and maybe even grow their relationship due to it. But it's all framed in a way where like
Yeah.
there's like something at stake, but it's like, but what's at stake? Like and then a couple times they do this thing where they like should have make a point of saying that like the people that were born rich are kind of like out of touch with like that the world has gone bad, and then like the people that have newly come into wealth, like yeah, they like casually drop like, oh, I am actually doing like the best charity in the whole world, but it's no big deal and you wouldn't understand and I don't expect you to, and they kind of like make it seem like it's like, there you go, like audience, these are good people and you should be rooting for them, like, but they're not gonna like humble brag, they're just gonna like explain enough to like be polite, and otherwise resume their position as a social outcast, like which these rich people would not pick up on.
Yeah.
And it's like it just is like too, yeah, it's like it's too like serving us, it's too like aware, I guess, like it's all like good acting and well put together, but sometimes yeah, I just get bothered by like, and then they're like, so everything's like, these are like, you know, this guy's like super in shape and he wakes up early and like everything's should be great, right, and then they're like, but they're having this one problem that like you can see, didn't you catch that, they just miscommunicated and now like, oh, it's like trouble in paradise. It's like not super realistic because like I don't think they're where they are, and then also just massively like making mistakes, like it was kind of weird like to see like a scene where like the wife like comes onto him, he doesn't understand, then she like catches him, yeah, I'm trying to think of like the order of the
She
shows.
catches
Yeah.
him at the beginning, and then she's like shocked, and she's like, "Wait, what?" Oh, I missed the thing.
Yeah, like
But
when she
it's like,
goes, yeah, that thing where like she
yeah,
goes to breakfast or something, then comes back.
yeah, exactly.
But then
But
one
I
of her
like,
dialogue lines, she's like, well, I just was at breakfast. It's like, well, he doesn't know that, obviously. Like, why would he know your itinerary? Like, it's sort of, it was a weird interaction. But then they were so, like, it wasn't, like, she was not angry. She was like appropriately, like it was like their relationship got stronger for that, and it was like a moment where they had such perfect understanding, but then they still dropped the ball where it was uh like she's like clearly looking for that as an opportunity to like deepen their romantic relationship, and then he doesn't pick up on that and just is like, oh, I wouldn't want to cause you the trouble of that. But then you can see like she's like, oh, I didn't, you know, he didn't get my hint. But it's like your relationship is at a point where you can just explicitly say what you want, and
yeah,
the whole
it's
like that
very
resolves
strange,
everything, you know. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's annoying seeing like a
unrealistic.
miscommunication, yeah, where it's like, but it almost tips me to like either that miscommunication wouldn't have happened, or if it did, like these people deserve whatever whatever they get, you know. It's like serves them
Yeah.
right for like being smart in some areas but like dropping the ball in one massive area for no reason. Like it's like, yeah, uh that does deserve like someone dying. I don't know who it's gonna be.
So we're stuck.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
We're stuck on the
I wonder
island.
if that person even notices. Like, I wonder if he's done this to multiple people and doesn't. He never would have follow up to even realize that's what's happening.
Oh, too many deaths in a row, sending you to spawn.
Oh, cool.
Oh, That's fun. I guess they realize that sometimes this happens.
That's neat when they think of stuff that's like so hard to even picture.
I wonder if they thought of it rather than people keep getting stuck on this rock and we keep getting people talking about it. Let's fix that.
There's a little
Oh,
job
there's
in the center camp. There's like a job board that if you just get enough like fish of different kinds, you'll complete like objectives, and it just gives you like free money for different categories of fish.
there's a secret behind the waterfall.
Yeah, but it's like a rod, and you have to buy it or something. The rod.
Yeah, you need like 5 of these things.
Want
5
me to?
spectral bones.
I could show you where the void is.
Yeah, I want to see the void. Let's see it.
Yeah, it's like this way. I think we gotta find like a blue thing over here to get up. Oh no, there's a ladder.
This seems normal. It's just a ladder. Yeah,
It may be disappeared for me already. Yeah, mine's gone. Is it there for you?
where is it?
Should it be like... I think it was on this platform that we're on right now.
Yeah, no, I don't see it.
Yeah, maybe it's just random for everyone.
Have you been up the lighthouse?
Yeah, oh yeah, I launched myself there.
You can just enter through.
Oh, right, actually, yeah, that's how I got him. Yeah, because launching is not high enough. I think I fished from here, actually. The lighthouse.
Really? It didn't let me when I tried.
If you hit water.
Oh, if you hit what? Sorry.
If you just like the distance is short enough where I am that your thing lands in water.
Yeah, I'm on the way. Hold on. So the distance is short enough where you are. Oh, I see. Because you're right under it. Okay, let's see.
I caught a flounder. What? Yeah, when I joined a public server, there was a bunch of people on this dock. People had like picnic blankets like put out and everything.
Yeah, it feels like people really, really like the aesthetic of this game. It's nice. I kind of like. I get it. Like I was saying earlier, it's just chill. Nice way to chill.
The graphics too. I like the Valheim has this kind of like large pixel graphics. It makes the game feel much less like computationally intensive, and that's like a nice feeling because it just feels like the computer's not working that hard, and that makes it feel like more relaxed atmosphere.
Wait. Do you get a what was that pop up on your?
Oh, I can see bubbling. Yeah,
Where?
I think there's these meteors that land every once in a while
Oh, I see it.
in the
Okay,
center
cool.
pond, yeah. But they're just like, I remember fishing for one, and the thing is just really hard to catch. So
Oh, I see.
you can go for that one, and then we'll see.
I need to get an auto clicker at this rate. In this chill game.
Oh, there's these little bubbles as well that are like a guaranteed fish.
I'm gonna be playing more of this game. I think given work these days, I need a game like this to chill. We actually just had another tech lead quit. Went to he's going to Jane Street If you've ever heard of
Oh
that.
yeah, that's where SBF was
That's right.
originally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Or
apparently
SBF.
SBF made $1 million a year there for losing them 300 million.
Yeah, it pays. Job pays insanely well. It's also apparently very stressful. I was talking to this one manager who has some friends that were there. He said one of his friends is a trader there, and apparently he lost $100 million overnight, and he couldn't sleep for like
Of
days.
his own or the company.
No, of the company's money, which like effectively will hit him, right? Because apparently the salaries are like tech normal tech salaries as like their base, but the stock is like, or there's no stock, there's just a bonus based on how much you've earned. But 100 million is a lot.
So
Yeah,
that means that
apparently it has to
you
do with what
wouldn't you
you
wouldn't have any bonus for a while.
probably, or you get fired. I don't know. I
It's
don't really know
definitely
how it
like
works.
random too. Like I feel like there's no amount of skill involved in that kind of stuff. It's just like it's a job where money goes like numbers go up and down and like you know like you lose sleep over something that is like out of human control in some sense. Like
Yeah, as far as
yeah.
I've understood, it's like pretty much they use math to like come up with, like they're at such a scale that they have enough math to kind of like, if they have the right algorithm, they kind of win most of the time on the long in
Mm-hmm.
the long run. But I don't know. Anyway, I am gonna work on my random projects for now. So I'm gonna log out of the game, but I can stay on the call.
You could advertise your projects before you leave if you want. If you
Advertise my
ever want,
project.
like if any potential people are ever listening to this, then you could
Oh
like
yeah,
explain to them if they might be interested in whatever. If you ever have some
I mean, the product
thing
I'm
they could
building
check out.
is like not a it's not a like serious thing. I'm just trying to validate ideas for things and see what sticks, see what people are interested in. I have one that is and you're gonna love these. You're gonna love these, Richard. So one of them is a app that will effectively, it's an API really that will listen to radio stations around the world and make them effectively searchable for not their exact content, but like signals from them. So if you're a company and you want to like have an alert every time your company's name is mentioned somewhere, you just put in the name of your
Hmm.
company and it will like start, pinging you live every time your company is mentioned somewhere.
Hmm.
And you can use that to like do all kinds of things. If you need that for a trading signal, or if you need that for like conversion optimizations or conversion signals,
That's
those are all
interesting,
there.
actually. That I assume radio stations like don't have like they don't provide a text feed of their audio, but that's like an accessibility thing too. So if I feel like radio station, you could like sell your thing to radio stations, and they could make it the official transcript for audio impaired listeners.
The thing is, the content of radio stations is copyright. So you can't actually sell a transcription of
Hmm.
anything. So my business doesn't sell transcriptions of anything. It sells like information about it, right? Which is legal under like fair use laws. So I can like listen in on what they're doing, but I can't provide you with an exact transcript of what was said. I can just say that, oh, at
Hmm.
this time they talked about this, they said these things about it, but not word for word.
Yeah, I was thinking more like the radio station would like buy your product
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then
I
like
mean,
enhance their own
that's a different
product.
thing.
Yeah.
I think the radio stations are very, as far as I understand, like owned by like a few. I mean, it depends on the radio station and the country and stuff. But anyway, so that's one thing, and then there's two other things. One of the things is a um, I'm not sure exactly what it's going to look like. I finished the landing page for it, but it's effectively a um, career coaching service that like is very much um, just focused on keeping people like on track. It's not focused on like giving excessive feedback, but it's like AI based. And the point is that you can sign up for it. You talk about what your goals are, and it gives you like fairly generic advice. But the whole point is that like it prompts you to think about it every day and talk about it.
Hmm.
Um, and then the other one is essentially I'm working on this one right now, but it is a physical product. So this one is essentially the photoresistor idea where you attach a photoresistor to like the LED on your webcam and it
Hmm.
will send a signal to another LED somewhere to like light up
Oh yeah.
so that you can so that you can actually know if you're on a call and stuff like that. Um, but yeah,
That's kind of
those are
interesting.
kind of
Like, there's probably more applications than like you could put one in your fridge and it would tell you if the fridge is open because the light would come on and the other LED would pick that up, or like any coffee maker or anything. Just like put the little sticker over any light and it will monitor that light.
exactly. Yeah, that's kind of the goal is like put a little sticker on things. But then I'm trying to figure out like what is the it's not really a big problem right now, but like what is the cheapest and smallest like microprocessor with Wi-Fi or Bluetooth that I can put that will be able to connect to different places
Mm-hmm.
to allow for um, to effectively allow for like lightweight applications because right now I use an ESP32 which is very bulky, not bulky but just bigger, so I want something pretty darn small with Wi-Fi.
If you make all that, like those three things, uh, what do you do in terms of like those projects exist out there, and do you find like do you have projects that like people actively use, like some number of users use right now, like that are old projects that you made, and do you have to like
No,
maintain,
actually,
you know?
that's why I actually want to like these are the first ones that I'm like actively starting out from the beginning as being like I intentionally want people to use them,
Mm-hmm.
because I think most of the time I just do things because I'm like, hey, I want to work on a project because oh, this is fun, this is cool to do. Um, but I don't really make them with the intention from the outset of having people use them. Just from the like, oh, this is a cool idea. I should do this. Oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna figure out how to make this like a thing. I usually start that way, but I rarely start from like, hey, I want to make this a thing, and it's a cool idea, and I want it. So how do I do both at the same time? It's usually just I have a cool thing I want to make. I'll make it. So we'll see how that like if changing that makes it go differently, or if I approach it differently. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I just wonder. I guess you haven't. Yeah, like I don't have anyone using any of the stuff that I made, but I wonder like if I feel like there's sort of like a line that gets crossed where if you have like people that you could like receive an email on any given day, someone inquiring about like a feature or thing about some past project, it seems like that would change like the relationship a little bit, or like one's mindset.
Yeah.
Like you'd feel like perhaps like a bit of responsibility or and a desire to like grow the user base, or concern
I
that like
mean,
people are using it in some way.
the one project that did I just get a letter?
Yeah, I sent
What?
you. Someone else at some point sent me 26 like ring boxes, and then I don't know how to sell them, so they were just like taking up my inventory. Like this happened like during our play session now, and the only way I could figure out to get rid of them was to send you the letter. And uh, it says that if you deny a letter, then it just like deletes all the items, which may be the only way to destroy them. But if you accept, maybe I don't know if there's like a way to sell them
I
actually, or
disconnected as I saw it pop up. I disconnected, so I'm logging back in. Hopefully.
but then yeah, I guess you could join some public game,
Oh,
mail them to someone else, and then just like that's how you could get rid of them if there's no other way.
oh shit, that's a lot of ring boxes.
I was hoping they could be sold, but at least with the fish. Oh, hey, Justin is here.
Hello, Justin.
Can he hear us? Oh yeah,
You
I
still
can
chatting
hear.
away?
Yeah, we're chatting. This is me and Sammy. I guess you've never met Sammy before. Yeah, you had told me earlier you had something to do, but yeah, it's good that you're able to drop in. I think Sammy's on his way out in a few minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, on a future week though, Sammy's welcome to like come back and join again anytime. So I don't know if I don't know what the three of us can accomplish here in in the few minutes that Sammy has left.
That's
But
fine.
we've
I
been
just wanted
playing
to say
actually.
hi.
Oh yeah. Oh, just dropping in to say hi.
Yeah, yeah. If you got a couple minutes after he's gone, then maybe we can catch up for.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got some time.
Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah. Enjoy your 26 ring boxes. We're
Just
playing
gotta
like
figure out
a
my Bluetooth here. That's some shit.
yeah.
I was gonna
Feel.
say,
Oh yeah, you were gonna say something.
I was just gonna say for the ring boxes, you might want them back, Richard. I opened one, and then I opened another, and it gives you $1,000 for each ring box.
Whoa.
So if you want, I accidentally
It's like
opened three
$1,000.
before I realized it. So if you want those back, I will.
I
Send them
wouldn't
back.
care. I don't really care either way. Feel free. Yeah, you could. I wouldn't want them all back. You could. It's not really
Sent you
worth
8.
going through the. Send me 8.
There you go. Yeah, half of
Yeah.
them because I opened a bunch. That's half of the ones I had.
Yeah, that
was
that's
this?
1, 3,
Uh,
5, 9.
There's a game called web fishing. I could actually. I guess you are you able to see my stream if I in the Discord. It's just a game where you're like a cat and you're fishing on this island, and you could just cast into the water, catch a fish. Then you have to like click the mouse to catch the fish. And you can buy like Coke. You can drink some Coke that makes you fish better, and buy clothes.
Oh yeah. That's not what I was expecting. Okay.
And we just realized that we made like thousands of dollars in someone like sent us a bunch of ring boxes that apparently are worth money in like in-game money.
Real money.
No, like
Oh, in-game money.
cat money.
Sick. Well, when you were saying fishing and shit, I was thinking of RuneScape and the many hours that I've spent grinding, trying to level up my fishing level.
Yeah, this
Forget.
I guess yeah, that
Remember.
maybe yeah, RuneScape is maybe a good analogy for this.
Manta Ray.
Or are you saying
Now I want to play
RuneScape stuff?
RuneScape.
Is that was Sammy saying RuneScape things? I
Yeah, I
haven't
was
played
saying
much
RuneScape.
RuneScape. I've only killed cows in
You know-
RuneScape.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've only played the free version. My buddy Nathan's like, playing the free version only is like being stuck in Dushan in Elder Scrolls Online and not seeing the rest of the world. He's like, dude, if you do anything in your life, you gotta play the paid for the subscription version of RuneScape. I was like, man, I don't know if I got those hours. I've already spent a lot of time on it.
Yeah, the members, like the paid version, is a whole nother ball game. I played it a long time ago when I was a kid, like too long ago. And it did suck up a lot of time, but good memories. I actually learned to code because of that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you're a
that's what got
coder
me
now.
into it. So I could make bots.
There you go. Nice. Yeah, bots is the way to go. Like I didn't realize there was bots, and I'm chatting all these fucking random. They're like, hey, what's up? How you doing? We're mining together. They're not real.
No, they're not real. None of them are real.
It's fucking genius. At the same time, like, how the hell do I do that?
You don't want to do that because then you get banned. And then my main account, back in, I don't know, 2009, I think, got banned for cheating, which rightfully so. I was breaking the rules, sure. And I don't know what happened, but they changed their rules like that you effectively had a 10-year grace period. It was like a permanent ban. So I got my account unbanned after like 10-ish years. I got it back like
10
3 years
years.
ago. So I
Wow.
logged back into like it was more than 10 years because it was like 20, last logged in 2009, I think. And then I think I got it in 2021, 2022. And like logging into like the game I played in middle school is insane.
Oh man.
Different.
Oh, I love that game. My other profile or whatever got ported over to the RuneScape 3. I haven't touched it. I just went back to old school and I just did like a ultimate Iron Man character because I like
Oh,
punishing
there you
myself.
go. Okay. Wow.
I'm a minimalist, right? So I'm like fucking like I don't know, 50, 60 combat. No, I'm 60 combat across the board. Like most levels that I can get in the free version are 60 at least, and then I'm mining to like 75. It's like fucking just grinding your way. Like, you figure out you have to dedicate when you're leveling up on one thing only, and you just like that's it. Like I carry the fucking pickaxe and gold, and the rest is okay. Like maybe a few like the earth runes and the law runes, and those are the only ones I hold on to because those ones you
And
get
you
off
can't
of
die.
enemies. Yeah.
And you can't die either because you're in Iron Man. Stressful.
Well, yeah. So the ultimate one, if you die, you can pick your shit back up. But the red version, if you die once, you lose the status and you drop down to basic Iron Man. So the ultimate is like no trade, no drops, pure, like pure pain. Like it's as rough as it gets. But
Yeah.
the one thing is that you stay Ultimate Iron Man if you die. The Red Iron Man, anybody who's Red Iron Man and stays that way is legit. Like that's fucking hard.
Yeah, that's too much. That's like next level right there. Anyway, I gotta run. I want to work on a few things before I head to sleep. But it was nice briefly meeting you, Justin.
You
I'm
too,
sure we'll
man.
talk more at some point.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Yeah. Hey, Richard.
Later.
Hey, Justin. Bye.
Yeah, I'll stick on for a bit if you want to chat. How long
Yeah,
are
man.
you
Well,
thinking?
I got a few minutes, while
Yeah.
you're fishing away there or
Yeah.
running around. I think
Yeah,
a cat fishing game is genius. Like that's so clever.
and it is
you
multiplayer.
know,
So the intent of this is like just like a chill game where you're supposed to just kind of chat or fish, but there's a bunch of like public lobbies and you can join and there's like other people. They have their own outfits and you can only text chat to like other players in game. I guess for like it makes moderation easier. But yeah, when me and Sammy were playing just now, like a third guy joined and he was like talking with us. That sort of invokes some of the like the RuneScape concept of just encountering other players.
Yeah, I like that about the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like another Dark Souls reminds me of too, where you have gestures only, but then if you co-op with somebody, then you can message them after the fact. Like once you meet them, once you invade or co-op. I've been daydreaming a lot about Dark Souls. I think I'm gonna actually start a character on it.
There's a new game. I don't know how Dark Souls it is, but it's like like kind of not a sequel to Elden Ring, but it's like I think it may be slightly in the Elden Ring universe, but it's like made to be multiplayer. It's like a multiplayer co-op game made by the Dark Souls creators. I'm not really sure if it's going to be like a punishing Dark Souls game or in the Elden Ring universe or similar art style, but they're making it because they learned that like people kind of like there was a mod that allowed like seamless multiplayer for Elden Ring and they saw that was popular, so I think they're trying to make like a much more richer multiplayer, like play through the whole game with co-op people experience.
Yeah, man. As far as I'm concerned, Elden Ring was developed and made to be a multiplayer game. So I can solo bosses on all the Dark Souls games and Bloodborne games. Elden Ring, those bosses are next level difficult. Like they're really fucking hard. You have your shit wired tight and be leveled up and have good gear and know the move set and like the mechanics to stand a chance. And even then, sometimes you got to be lucky.
Yeah.
So someone said to me once, like, "Oh, it's the bosses are meant for you to like summon other players." I'm like, "Oh," because like sometimes there's two bosses, three bosses that just fucking destroy you. They just, I was gonna say something bad, but they just team up on you and fucking pulverize you. Like there's one where it's like two gargoyles, and they're just smashing the fuck out of you. Like in two hits, you're dead. It's like, oh, okay, that's not fair.
Do you think they make the boss, like
But
if
yeah,
you summon
anyway,
players, like does the boss get slightly harder if you summon players, or you think it stays the same and so there's like only benefit?
yeah, yeah. I think their HP pool grows a lot. Actually, I don't know
Hmm.
if their attack goes up, but yeah, I think their HP pool goes up. And the thing is, though, if you can like not have the aggro of two bosses on you, that's already game changing, even if their HP's up. So like splitting the amount of DPS that's coming your way. So at least if you dodge, you're not getting hit at the end of your dodge by the other guy that's fucking slamming you with his, I don't know, halberd. But Elden Ring is I really like Elden Ring. And then the DLC I've stayed away from because, I value my time and I don't want to spend the next 100
They should make a fishing game in
hours
Elden Ring.
if I'm single. That if. So, what's that?
They
Say
should
that again.
just
I
make
think I
like
heard a
a
dead
like a
zone.
relaxed multiplayer fishing game inside Elden Ring.
Oh, yeah?
They should do that. Yeah, just like use the same like world, give everyone like fishing rods, and then you can just like play like some combination of like RuneScape and this catfishing game, but in Elden Ring world.
They did that with Elder Scrolls Online.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure there was like this like sub community of fishers, and there was like this achievement called the Master Angler, and you get like a pink dye or something, and it's really difficult to get because you have to go to each area, each map to fish, to collect all the special fish with certain eggs. But the chance of you getting it is by yourself is like super low. And so the chance of you getting the more rare fish increases when you have more people fishing the same spot. And so you have like fucking designated fishing parties going out. It's, I never joined in, but I heard about it. I was just like, okay. I like pink a lot, but I don't like it that much.
They think of clever things like ways to encourage players to gather together. There's like some smart like rewarding of social behaviors.
Well, the dungeons make it so that you should be four players. It's difficult to beat a veteran dungeon by yourself. Not impossible, but difficult. So it's like you kind of have to group up to make it reasonable. And trials, that's forced group content. You can't solo a trial. I tried. It lasted like 2 seconds. So yeah. Trials are 12 people and you have to be super coordinated. The mechanics are very punishing. Even if your character is like completely fully maxed out, doesn't matter. You don't follow mechanics, you're wiped out.
Yeah.
60,000 damage when your max damage, like max hit points for a DPS is like 30 if you're a bit on the plump side. I'm usually like around 25 because it's all about damage, right? Like you got healers and shit, so you just want to be pure damage. But
You
yeah,
seem to get very
60K.
into the numbers. Like you're always able to like quote very precisely like different numbers for a variety of games. I guess that's like a testament to the time you've spent like analyzing those things.
Yeah, I didn't realize that, but yeah, I do pay attention to that kind of stuff.
But like off the
I'm
top
not.
of your head is kind of impressive. That
Oh, hey man, you think that's impressive? Talk to Nathan. He'll tell you like the fucking code in the background and how damage is calculated and defense is negated, and it's like, oh, yeah, okay, just tell me what meta is, bro. Like, I want to know what sets do the most damage, and that's it. And then he'll fucking put his Poindexter glasses on and calculate it and then tell me, and I'm like, okay, now I'm OP. Thanks. Now that guy's impressive. He lives and breathes the stuff that he does. Like, if you want to have anybody in your company working for you doing analytics or whatever, it's this guy. Because when he like does something, he does something. Like he really drills in, or he does it. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, some
I just
people
piggyback off him.
they have like they can get like a partial obsession with like certain tasks, and then they just really learn everything in such detail. Not me though. I do some fishing, get some worms.
Yeah. Well, I spent an embarrassing amount of time on both Elden Ring and PlayStation 5 when I like go over the game because my girlfriend can see that number, and yeah. So I try to like I'm looking to find how to deactivate the number. I don't think she's seen it yet, but it's like off to the right and it's kind of small. But we're plus 500 hours on Elden Ring.
Wow.
Total time. Elder Scrolls, I'm not going to say. She sees the number, it's the relationship's over. And this was time that I spent on it before I started dating her. So it's over. If she sees the kind of time I played, man, like it's not good.
It could enhance the relationship. You never know. Some people could be into that. You have to do a test somehow.
You know, I haven't really been playing any video games since meeting her. Life's been very full and fulfilling.
That's good, yeah. Yeah, like getting away, yeah, like, and you're not feeling like the impulse to go back and play games. I feel like that's sort of a testament to like enough else is going on. You have enough distraction that it's like you're being fulfilled in other things. That's kind of cool.
Like, I have no genes for addiction, I can confidently say. The only way I can understand addiction is my binge eating when I'm stressed. When I don't have control, and I know that what I'm about to put in my face is bad for me and that I shouldn't eat at 10 p.m. and I shouldn't overeat until I'm sick. But stress, how it overrides all logic when you're stressed and that like the vision starts to narrow. That's the closest thing I have, I think, to addiction is the need to eat when I'm stressed. Outside of that, man, I don't understand addiction. So like people are like seriously like I get what it's like to like need to escape, and I've done that with the video games before, but I get bored, and when I'm bored, I'm done. Like I need to do something else. Like it's not addiction in my mind.
Yeah,
Like
I guess yeah. There's like there's like burnout. I think maybe games. Yeah, I don't actually know if like some people can be addicted to games, I guess. But games themselves are not like a thing where you necessarily like experience like withdrawal and everything from them. But then, yeah, so maybe there's like a difference between addictive substances and like games.
Yeah, like a dependence, a real dependence on the substance you're consuming. I just figured like, the game and the because they have like some gambling aspects to it. I've noticed with Elder Scrolls Online with the whole crate thing. Like I can understand it. Like, yeah, it's like a probability of you getting a super rare or ultra rare item that people are gonna gawk at, or like envy, and you gotta pay real money or use crowns, which you can either pay real money for or it's part of your subscription. So I can see people like gambling their money away to get this item, but that's a bit different than addiction. See, for me, like day trading, maybe people are addicted to that and like the stress of the game and the winning and like the chasing the numbers. I've lost too much. I've done day trading, man, and I'm still licking my wounds from the loss. tens of thousands of dollars down the drain. And I made it all back in like by doing proper investing, but I'm like, uh, I was like, I could just have that money, but you have to learn your own lessons. I hear from everybody, don't day trade, and now I've done it, and I can understand like FOMO. And when you have FOMO, don't invest. Like every time you do, when you have FOMO, it's the wrong time. When you invest in something, you do it before everybody else does it, then you get the gains. And if you choose not to pull out, once it does crash, you probably still have some great gains. But once you see that everybody and their dog's getting on board and the school teachers start getting in, that's the indicator. Get out when highly conservative people start getting in. So no school teacher or two. And when they start talking about the stock
Yeah.
or the crypto that you're in, then you pull out and you tell them to do the same if you like them because it's about to crash.
Yeah.
So that's what my experience is taught me. I've also read it too, but at the same time, it's like, yeah.
Possibly that specifically with maybe like AI hype, like kind of broke that because there's big like billionaire investment, like this SoftBank fund from like whoever that is. They'll like like things will be, everyone will have heard of it, everyone's money's in it, and then like some like slightly eccentric person will just drop in and add like billions of dollars more, and so there's like a calculation of like, even if it's dead and everyone's heard of it, you have to watch like these giant whales, like when are they gonna drop like their next round or something.
Yeah, the whales control the waves, so and then like also I don't know if they like shape the news and influence the news or what happens with that. I mean, they got that kind of money, they can influence the media. And then they can kind of control the narrative, and the narrative ultimately makes the waves. So it's really just riding the waves. I think really the trick is just get it in an investment early enough that you believe in and just stick it out. And then like that's okay, backing up. These are the numbers I've heard from advisors and from Mouse Simple. And when you're young, like 20, 15 years at least from retirement, then you go full stocks. Like you go 90% stocks and you go 10% whatever, who fucking cares? Like it could be like bonds,
Like
fixed income, whatever.
diversified stocks of some kind.
Yeah, well, S&P 500 comes to mind, but spreading the stocks. Yeah, mostly stocks. Not you do individual, like dividend paying banks, companies that have been around. But here's the thing is
But
like
even
companies that have been around forever doesn't
yeah.
mean that they're going to be around forever. Hudson Bay Company, case in point. They're fucking been around since before Canada's Canada. And they're collapsing. So just because they're old as time doesn't mean they're guaranteed. But companies that have Enbridge, all right, like gas. We need gas in Canada, or we freeze to death unless fusion becomes a thing. I don't know. We need gas. I fucking hate Enbridge. I still got to pay them, still got to heat my home. That's a company that's going to be around, and it pays dividends. I think the last time I checked it was 7% plus. That's a good return on your money. 7% guaranteed. Jesus.
So what do they say?
I mean,
You were saying stocks. Like I think S&P 500 is pretty safe, and it's stocks. Do they say get out? What do they say to do in retirement? Do you switch?
so you go more stable, you go more bonds and stuff, and like because it's lower risk, and as if you still want some growth. I mean, you have to have some cash flow. Well, some people like they just cash out their RSP. I'm learning about this now. Like you build your RSP and then you actually tap into it, and you can like if you have enough, you could just live off of like the interest of it or the money that it produces. But some people just you get an RSP, you might as well just fucking use it. It's there. You're gonna be taxed at a lower rate. It's basically guaranteed income. But just use it. Just fucking use it. But if
Yeah, I guess you
you
do want to protect yourself from like if the market goes down, S&P 500 would go down, and if you're making like regular withdrawals, you don't want to get stuck selling at a loss or equal in the S&P 500. I guess that's why you could switch to bonds, and then as you sell the bonds, you have like a guarantee that you're not going to sell in a bad year, but it's going to still make some interest.
yeah, so it's more stable and it doesn't like, ebb and flow as much or increase and decrease as much. So, um, but that's the idea. As you get closer to retirement, you want to become more conservative, and you don't want to have the market crash when you're about to pull out money and use the money. So you want to like safeguard it and move it over. And the percentages I've heard were different, but like 60% stocks, 40% bonds kind of thing. If you still want growth, and then, moving more and more towards bonds, fixed income, that kind of stuff. So like Enbridge is interesting because it's dividend paying stock. And so you buy the stock, you ideally buy low, and there's a chance it can go up, which increases the value of the stock. But at that point, it doesn't matter if it's paying 7% per, I think it was a quarter. Pretty sure it was a quarter or per
That
year.
sounds high.
I think it was
7% a
per
year
quarter.
makes sense. Per 7% a
I
quarter is
think it
pretty
was,
high.
I think it's 7% per year, but paid out quarterly. I'll
Oh
double
yeah.
check. But that's cool. That's cool because if you're sitting on like 2 million or $1 million, 1.5. I'm not saying go all in an Enbridge, but you can live off of 7% of $1 million, can you?
Mm,
Pretty sure you can.
yeah.
That's a nice, decent salary per year, and it doesn't really touch the bottom line. You're just living off dividends.
Hmm.
So, and there's also the chance that the stock could go up as well. But and once if it's not a TFSA, then everything's taxed. So everything outside TFSA is gonna be taxed. So any gains you get, if you cash it out, you're gonna incur capital gains taxes. So at least in Canada, I don't know the rules in the States. But yeah, it's interesting. Like as I make my mistakes, I'm learning like what's good and what's not good. And the market's super, people are very uncertain. But this is just, and people are like, panic selling, of course, because they don't know and they don't have the knowledge. And I'm just like, it hurts. It hurts to see that my portfolio just dropped by 100K. It really fucking hurt me. And I'm like, I lost some sleep, and I'm like, what am I doing? Who cares? This will recover.
Yeah.
Capitalism will prevail. And it may not bounce back immediately. It might take a year, it might take 2 years, it might take 3 years, but overall, there's a chart. I'm gonna look at the chart right now. I'm talking to you. I just saved it, and I have yet to archive it in my notes. Okay, if you invested, I mean, irrelevant in that you haven't been alive for 2 centuries, but if you invested
Or
one
like,
dollar,
has anyone has anyone ever
yeah,
lived for 2 centuries?
if you invested $1 in 1825, okay, if you invested in gold, you would now have $94.32.
Almost
If you
100,
invested in bill,
100 times improvement.
if you invested in bills, you would have $5,677.
What's
If you
bills?
invested in bonds, I guess currency.
Oh yeah, just like,
If you invested,
yeah, whatever that would mean. Yeah.
I'll have to double check, but bonds, $50,206. Stocks, you would have 54,200,000.
Mhm.
So just the difference with just right then, like all the
That's
growth is
some
coming
future. That's
from.
like what happened in Futurama. He put $1 in a bank account, and in the future it was billions. There's an episode that like, I think that's like
What
one
did
of
he
the
invest
first.
in? Apple?
Well, he just had like $1 like in his bank account, and then he went like thousands of years into the future, and I think that's like episode 1 or 2. They like check his bank account, and it's just like enormous an amount of money just from like small interest. But if you actually go and do the calculation, it's like pretty accurate, based on the interest rate they tell him and how many like thousands of years it was in there.
Amazing. That's the thing. It's like if there's a vampire that's alive today in a series that's been around for, multiple centuries, and they're
Mm.
not filthy fucking rich, they've they're stupid. They've been doing it wrong.
It's weird that
Because the
like
stock
it's
market,
like, did our grandfathers not have $1? Like that they could have accidentally invested and just like like it's hard. It's annoying that everyone doesn't have $50 million today due to like a piece of paper their grandfather kept around after investing like $1.
well, the thing is, like, they die and it has to get handed down, right? And then
Yeah, there's
inheritance gets
a
taxed into
lot
the
of ways.
ground and
Yeah,
split,
yeah.
and that destroys the compound interest for sure. If there was like a family trust, maybe the ultra rich do this. I don't know, and now I'm curious. If there's a family trust, like it belongs to the family, okay, and like I don't know, like okay, like a small family. So it's like mother, father, kids, and then it's passed down to the son or something, and I don't know, like fucking royalty. No idea. Where it's like passed down to the eldest son kind of thing. And then the rest kind of live off of like the land and they get to enjoy all the perks, but really all of it belongs to the eldest son. Just thinking of, royal times. Um, then like if you sat on that kind of wealth and it continued to stack and you didn't spend it all and you had the estate and you just kept growing and you had the other family members, the siblings and whatever live on the land as well and benefit from it, but that massive amount of money just continued to grow. Maybe that could work. I don't know what the ultra rich do. I
I
really don't
think
know.
I think something like that. Like I'm pretty sure like rich families do pass down like houses and accounts and trusts. There is a thing called like a trust fund baby. That's like, when a kid grows up with a trust fund that's going to become theirs like when they turn into an adult, and it's like enough money where they never have to work. And like, but it's like a derogatory term because the idea is like if you're a trust fund baby, you don't have to like try at all in life, and that makes you sort of like you don't have an opportunity to grow.
I want to add to that though. It's like, not in the sense that you have to do it to get by, but at the same time, if you have all the resources, you have all the potential. And not everyone's going to use that potential, but if you don't have the resources, things are stacked against you. And
Yeah,
you could be super smart, but if the right people don't take notice, and you keep getting shit on, you're not going to go anywhere.
yeah,
So if you have the resources and people believe in you and yada yada yada, you get what's called the Pygmalion effect, and you will excel. And even if you are great, high IQ, and you're told you're shit and stupid because you come from a poor family, it's the Golem effect, and you're going to do worse, and your IQ is going to drop.
mhm.
So these people who have life handed to them, they may not know extreme hardship or anything like that, but you know, it doesn't mean that they don't have potential to do great things.
Yeah. In a sense,
I
they get like robbed of the opportunity to live life in a more direct way. In a sense, like it's a little bit unfortunate. Like they don't get to choose, but they have this uphill battle in terms of like learning to put in effort is, I imagine, like harder for them. But equal like, but way harder obviously if someone is like poor or like undervalued. But then yeah, it's like ideally I think the place to be is like around the middle.
Yeah, it's like it's too bad that we associate value with money, and that someone is only worth what their net worth is. Because like for
Mm.
instance, like I'm still the same dude. The difference is I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser, and you sure I got bigger numbers in the account, but I still drive my Forerunner. I still wear the same pair of jeans most days. Same pair. Like I'm pretty gross actually.
I wear
If
like the
I
same pants for quite a while as well.
Yeah, if I don't sweat in them, it's fine. I change my underwear and my socks are merino wool, so I don't fucking care. Those things don't stink. And like, I don't have a lot of clothes. I don't have a lot of things. I don't look rich, mind you. I'm not rich relative to some of the fucking money I see out there. But I'm not a hurting unit, and I'm not a slave to the system anymore. But you wouldn't be able to tell. You when you look at me, you're just like, oh, that's just a normal dude. And
Mm-hmm.
apparently, like I hear that those are the sound investors, the ones that don't spend their money on fucking Corvettes or whatever. The people who put their money into the system to grow are the ones that actually like become successful long term. But yet, I I used to look at people. I'm getting to the point now. I used to, when driving, look at people with the fancy, luxurious cars and think, oh, they're successful. They have money. They've done well with themselves. But I didn't realize that a lot of people are just leveraging a lot of debt.
Yeah, that's
They buy
true.
the cars with their fucking capital. Like instead of putting the money to work, they just buy the car, which is depreciating liability. Just stupid.
Mm. Yeah.
And but here I'm sitting envying them, thinking that they're successful because they have a status symbol, and that's not right. It were people who buy massively large houses that are beyond what they need, and they have to close off most of the extra rooms they have because they don't want to heat them. They don't host because they don't have the resources to, and they're house poor. And like they create this perception of like wealth and success, but they're not.
Yeah,
So
it's
I was
yeah, it's like
I was I was
we
linking.
sort of we can know that it's hard like where our brains are like in somehow like wired to like see these status symbols and buy into them, but then yeah, like logically we know there's nothing there. But it's interesting to think sort of we need to sort of like think a lot through it logically and talk ourselves out of it into reality, when like it's so easy to just like flash wealth with some kind of status symbol, and like I guess it works, that's why people do it, but it's not like it doesn't make them like a good person or like a well-rounded person or something.
Right. You and I know better, but I didn't know better before. I didn't know better before COVID.
Mm.
COVID kind of woke me up. Well, COVID woke me up for one reason, and then the fact that I was making $140,000 a year in redlining and going into debt
All right.
as a minimalist. That was the other reason why I woke up. Because I had variable interest rates because that was the old wisdom. Have variable interest rates because in the long term, they're cheaper than fixed. And then they also more flexibility. They give you more flexibility because you could break the mortgage for 3K versus 11K, which is what I was. I can't believe I listened to that fucking
Hmm.
broker. Never listen to a broker. They just want your money. They just want the fucking commission.
I didn't know there was a
Guy made me
mortgage breaking. That does that mean if you
fee.
like sell, like yeah, if you sell your, I always thought that you sell the house and then use the sale of the money to pay off the mortgage, but I guess that makes sense. Like the bank wants some money if they're not going to get like the continuous interest payments from the mortgage, even if you like pay off the rest. Like I know there's rules where you're not allowed to pay off the mortgage, but the fee makes sense. There'd be a fee, but I guess that confirms in my mind how the bank always gets their money one way or another. Like there's no way out of it.
Okay, so I haven't sold before. I'm selling in the next 2 months. Fingers crossed. Well, average for condos is 70, no, 40 days. Um, so I suspect there's going to be a fee to break the mortgage early, and for variable, it's cheap. It's only like it's a little bit of interest.
Mm.
Fixed though, it can be very, very damaging. They look at the remaining term and stuff. Last time I broke the fixed mortgage cost me $11,000.
Well,
That was stupid. That was so fucking dumb. Now that I
depends
think about
though.
how much
Like if maybe
that
you would
was
have
dumb.
lost more. You never know what
The
you.
guy was the guy was like, "Oh, based off the interest rates in the next couple of years, you're gonna make all that back." But the interest rates were like 1.5, 2%.
Mm.
That's not sustainable. What the fuck? The guy ill-advised me. Like it was a stupid, terrible move. And the fucker that put me in a 7-year fixed mortgage, like who does that in Canada? Come on.
Mm. Mm.
Well, anyway, I would have taken a 7-year at 1% for sure. I'd take a 20-year at 1%. Fuck, I'd hold on to the place forever for 1%. I'd be making bank, dude. Oh man. It's just the things I didn't know. And then like I look at my mortgage statement for 2024, $19,999.97 went into interest, and approximately $7,000 went into
Mm.
my principal. In what
Yeah.
world is that fair?
Yeah, that was another thing that I learned from hearing you say that I would never have known that before, that they balanced it that way. You said it was like you called it like front loading the interest. That's also pretty
It's not.
crazy that they do that.
Yeah, somebody corrected me and said it's not that the front end loaded, it's just that when you have a bigger balance, you pay more up front because your balance is bigger and the longer your term. So the
Oh,
banks want you to have a longer term. The longer your term, the more interest they're going to get out of you. 25 versus 30 years, right? Like 35 years is like, good luck getting that. That's more commercial, like super long term, super high interest. But then that's all stuff that you want to write off. You can't write off interest on your primary residence unless you're like, hustling a short-term rental or something, which is also risky. So I'm starting to wonder what is correct financial advice these days, because this whole thing of like paying off your mortgage first was when the interest rates were stupid high, like 17%, which makes sense because you're not getting that in the stock market. So pay off your mortgage first, yes. Interest rates now are dropping, but the stock market is, I mean, you got Trump in the fucking seat. And can you
all
trust
bets
the
are
stock
yeah.
market? Yeah, or the housing market in
Trust
this
it to go
case?
up
Like
and
I don't
down wildly.
yeah, like I don't know what the correct investment is anymore. It's not Canadian real estate. I'm about to take at least a $30,000 hit on my property. I'm
Mm.
listing at 499,990. Like, and the realtor's like, we can't list it for 500,000. I'm like, I'm listed for $10 less then because I'm not taking any more than like 30K is it. Like, I'm gonna get compensated from the government a little bit for that. I'm gonna maybe make 15 of that back or 20 of that back, but I'm like, I'm not losing any more.
Mm.
This is supposed to be real estate. It's supposed to be gaining money on the property. Oh, you bought at the peak of COVID. Well, since when do property markets peak and drop? It's not the stock
Mm.
market. It's supposed to be a gradual growth.
Yeah.
Anyway, COVID was fucked. And COVID was like, if you got lucky, you made generational wealth. And if you're unlucky, well, that generational wealth that someone else made, they stole from you. So I happen to be somebody who, well, I guess I was stolen from. I get kind of fucked, but not as bad as some people.
Mm. Yeah, there's definitely like a constant stream of like wins and losses the more money is being moved around. And I guess it the just investing in general, things balance out to the positive, but it's always annoying to be like, if you can avoid a couple losses you can really jump far ahead, but there's just no way to really do that because things are so unpredictable. But you sort of have to like play the game to like get the wins, and long term the wins outweigh the losses, but it's like it always feels like so much slower than we would want.
Yeah. Here's how I see it. It all comes down to horizons. So real estate, minimum 10 years whenever you buy property. If you're gonna burr, that's your business, and hopefully where you burr, there's no like flip tax or whatever else. And you want to do that work, it's a business. But if you're thinking, I'm talking about like passive, longer term investments, like where you put your money to work and you're not the one that's slaving away doing the work to make the money. Because as far as I'm concerned, when you do a burr, you're working. That's a job. So when you buy a property and you let it sit for 10 years and it gains equity because the market goes up because you picked a smart area that's being built up, and more and more families are moving in, driving up value, and because zoning's fucked and the government not subsidizing builders. Actually, I think they're starting to subsidize builders now. This is why, like, gotta sell before too many condos go up. Um, but yeah, the idea is like, so if I was willing to sit on this house for 10 years, when I bought my houses, the plan was to never sell. And when I bought this condo, I was like, oh, I'm never going to sell. I'm going to keep it and rent it out.
Mm-hmm.
But once you experience what it's like to be a landlord in Ontario and BC, and how fucked it is, and how you have no rights, and the rent control for anything under like any property built before 2018, I believe. Why is there rent control? Like, let people make market value. Jesus. Anyway, I
Yeah,
realize
there's like a, I guess it's like a, like housing shortage trying to keep people like housed, which it's like a weird, real estate's like a weird market because it's like ethically people need houses and need to afford them, but also it's historically been like a profit making thing. And so there's just like these competing interests where there's like no good solution except the big landlords like that own like 200, 300 properties. They like lobby the government and they make sure like they win all the time. But like being a small landlord is, I think, signing up for, like some pain because you're up against like people that are like fighting for their shelter basically. And so then even if you win, it's like not a fun like victory, I guess, because you gotta like win against someone else who's like stuck or something like that.
yeah, housing should be a basic like entitlement right, especially in a shitty climate like this in the northern hemisphere. 100%. So the government needs to have subsidized living that's government owned, that's not for profit, and the better quality places, larger places, multiple bedrooms, multiple bathrooms, heated tiles, blah blah blah, all the fucking amenities and bells and whistles. That's privately owned, and so you pay for that. So if you're just a single dude or girl without a family, one single income, subsidized living, if you want to build a family together, combine your incomes, qualify for a mortgage for a more expensive place.
Yeah.
So I was reading an article about subsidized housing and how there needs to be more of it, and I totally and fully agree. The solution isn't fucking hurting landlords like the folks like me. Yeah, nail the people who are using AI to inflate the costs for newer builds, because they're able to increase drastically the cost of rent, and AI apparently is responsible for doing that. I've read that too.
Yeah, AI
But
is quickly being responsible for everything that's bad. It's just finding a way.
Because this is see the loopholes for what they are, and just like, okay, we might as well exploit them, make money. That's what humans like to do. So people like me shouldn't be penalized for wanting to have multiple properties, especially if we're holding on to them as longer term investments. It's really in the government's best interest to not fuck us, because they're going to make their capital gains tax when we sell. So they're not going to make it when I sell my primary residence. They're going to make it when I sell these other residents, right? Like these rentals. So, but anyway, once I've learned the truth about capital gains tax and how high it actually is if you're not a business, and then all the risks that you're exposed to, and condos are just a bad deal because you got maintenance fees. You can't short-term rent them because the condo board, gets in your pants and tells you can't, and then the city comes and shuts you down. They actually fucking shut me down. They shut down my Airbnb,
Yeah.
and they're trying to shut me down in BC as well. I was just testing the market, and they're like, you need to be registered with British Columbia government, and so condos, like, they just don't let you make money off your home. And so what it does, if by not being able to do short-term rentals, you can't write off half of your expenses.
Right.
It's another way to just make you pay more taxes, not maximize your tax benefits, or to get the maximum tax benefits possible. And that's kind of pissing me off that they're taking away my ability to exploit this loophole that I found. Because it's a loophole. By Airbnb my place for half the year, I write off half my interest, my mortgage, and half my expenses to bring down the interest, or to bring down my taxable income by that entire amount. And so if I don't make that much money renting my place out, by the fact, because I had it listed for half the year, I could still claim half my shit. But because the government's now saying I can't have an Airbnb, I can't put my hand on my heart and say I had this business. And so I qualify for half my expenses being written off.
Yeah.
And the bylaws of condos get in the way because there's a bunch of old fucking people on them who don't want high turnover. They don't want the noise. They don't want the issues. I actually get that piece, but at the same time, if you look at ratings as a host, because you're not an idiot, and you bring in people who have good ratings and who, are quiet and respectful, that's low risk. That's lower risk. It's not low risk. There's always risk.
Yeah, they should just put a cap or like a floor on the ratings of the guests that you're allowed to accept rather than blocking the whole thing.
Sure. But yeah, the bylaws are just like no short-term rentals.
Yeah.
And then they have the ability to complain to the city, and the city can shut you down. I've had it happen. But I was still able to do long-term rental, and I'm doing bunny ears for a minimum 30 days. So I had someone in for 3 months. Yes, they did $2,000 worth of damage. However, I made $15K off of them. And I wasn't in here. That is far, far more money than I would make if I had a long-term rental. If I had a long-term renter, I would have made $6,300 in rent. I made double that plus some.
Yeah.
Short-term rentals are where it's at, dude.
That's interesting. Like, I've heard that Airbnb is kind of having an effect where it raises like the rental price, and that kind of fits that. Like a conventional renter would pay lower, but like, yeah, Airbnb sort of gets a premium because maybe it feels a bit modern, and the way that it like is able to have, all the properties are Airbnb, they can sort of see all the prices and people can compare and charge accordingly. I guess, it's a way to like get as much money as possible for the place. But then, yeah, the effect it has is like, if everywhere is Airbnb, it would be hard to find like a cheap place or something.
Yeah, so I compared to commercial, like hotels. And so the going rate for a hotel is like $100, $200, $300. You get a room, maybe 1 or 2 beds. You're surrounded by noisy fucking people who are completely and fully inconsiderate, throwing parties and waking you up at 2 in the morning. The breakfast isn't edible. Don't even know why they call it breakfast. Coffee's terrible. And the customer service is even worse. And yet you're going to pay $150 to $200, and if it's like the hot season, you're paying more. You can't bring your dog in. You can't live there with your family long term.
Yeah.
So why would I go to a hotel and give my business if I can just do an Airbnb, pay $250, and have 2 beds, 2 baths, kitchen, living room, TV, streaming, backyard, right?
Yeah.
1 neighbor on my left, or on my right, or maybe above me, but it's like It's just a better deal to do short term. Oh, yeah. So like that's if you're gonna go to a place temporarily that's already furnished and stuff. Longer term rental is like, you know what a long term rental is. You bring your own shit, you have a contract, you're there longer term. And so you don't get all the special treatment, you don't get the amenities, you don't get the fucking free toilet paper and the free coffee, whatever else. And but you might get a landlord that responds to your repair inquiries. I don't know. Depends on the landlord. So it's like you pay more because of the convenience and because of the extras. And the market's already kind of set by the hotels. So it's like they're offering shit for 150 plus, 100 to 150 plus. So, people don't have an issue paying a bit more for a more comfortable accommodation that lets their dog in. I actually didn't want pets, but by not having it open to pets, I wasn't gonna get any business because people travel with their animals.
Yeah.
So I had to open up the risk of
Huh.
having cats and dogs, and
You get to charge like
dog use.
a pet fee, extra pet fee though. Does that balance out?
Yeah, so the extra pet fee gets added on. Now, what you should do is you should. I don't know if you're allowed to. So there's a cleaning pet fee, and so
Mm-hmm.
you pay your cleaner. Your cleaner should be asking for more to deal with the pet hairs and to get rid of the smell because dogs leave wet dog smell when they're wet. But at the same time, dogs do extra wear and tear to your place. So I would highly recommend moving forward to myself to or anybody else is charge a bit more for dogs for longer stays. So if I have a minimum 30 day and I have a dog coming in the house, I'm charging an extra I can charge an extra $200. And what I could say is this is kind of a deposit, but it's kind of not because the dog will do damage. The dog will do damage. Just that's what the dog's gonna do. It's gonna scratch the hardwood floor. It's gonna fucking. It used my front entrance as a fucking chew toy. Destroyed it. I had to cut the edges off. There's holes in the middle. It's a shitty. It was a nice looking doormat before. Listen, man, I usually don't care about doormats, but this doormat was custom and a perfect fit for my place. Perfect fit. The colors fit perfectly. The stripes fit perfectly. Like it was perfect. The dog fucking destroyed it. So it's technically worth $30. To me, priceless. It was a priceless doormat that this dog ate. So, and I still smell the dog, oddly, in the washroom. So what I think they do is they brought the dog in, they kind of like picked it up, they threw it in the bathtub, and they kind of cleaned it every time they went outside or something. I don't know. But the
Huh.
bathroom smelled like dog. It smells like dog. It smells sort of smelly. It's getting better with time.
Yeah, you
But
got to
yeah,
get
people
get
travel
a
with their
dog that
dogs.
smells good to override the other dog.
Yeah. But yeah, but dogs, animals wear and tear, man. You gotta be willing to pay for it. It's not, it's not a fucking right to bring your dog into someone else's home. This whole service dog thing, no, fucking pay extra. The dog is still a dog. I don't fucking care if you need it because I'm a guy with PTSD saying this. I'm gonna pay more for my fucking service dog. Like it's just the dog is a dog. Like it's gonna have extra wear and tear. It doesn't matter if it's a service dog or not, and it's super well trained. It still has claws on its fucking feet, and it still could use your mat as a chew toy. So and it still smells like dog. So it's still a dog. A service dog is still a dog. So fucking but Airbnb's like you can't charge extra for a service dog.
It's something like the government should pay for. Like if someone has a service dog and goes to an Airbnb, they should get like there should be like an extra fee for the service dog that is paid for by the government that they can just like easily claim as being like a person with a service dog where like everywhere you go might want like a hotel or whatever they all may want to like take into account the dog, but it's not fair to either party. So then just have the government like, give like some kind of yearly allowance, like, so many vacation days where you can like claim the extra fee for the
Boom.
dog.
Exactly. An allowance should be given for the service dog. Absolutely.
Because I guess, there's, I assume, like some kind of disability allowance, but that's intended for like other things. So then basically, if a person's like traveling, you wouldn't want to like inhibit their travel by having people refuse them or try to add extra fees. You just want to have like that paid for in the same way as they would get another allowance.
Yeah. Service dogs can't be refused during travel. I don't remember if I can refuse someone with a service dog as a guest if I choose no dogs. I should be able, as a homeowner and as a host, be able to decide whether or not I want a dog in my home. But it's like charging extra money is where they start to draw the line, which they shouldn't. So I think, yeah, if someone receives a service dog because they really truly need it and it's a government benefit, insurance benefit, they should be paid extra as an allowance to cover the extra damages and risk that comes with having a service dog.
Hopefully a
That's just my two
service
cents.
dog too. I don't know if like all service dogs get like good training. I think they do. Hopefully they would be like well-behaved dogs, like beyond regular dogs. Like it's almost like there's like an assurance that the dog is a well-trained dog if it's service dog. But then like it's like the extra fee would be for like if because some dogs like do a lot of damage, but I couldn't see a service dog like doing damage. So then maybe that's the trade-off is like you can't predict the average dog, but if you have like a certificate that says like this dog is trained and whatever, it's like less risk.
Can't speak to it any more than I have because I don't have a service dog. But my point is of like a dog getting wet and still being a dog and smelling like a dog and
Yeah,
having that
either
wet
way.
dog smell in your
Yeah.
home, that's still going to happen, right? And
Yeah,
the
there's
dog's
no
still going
way.
to shed, and the additional cleaning is going to be required, and you need a good vacuum cleaner for that. So, like a cleaner does have a right to charge more for pets, and they do usually if they're more experienced because they've cleaned up after a dog and they're like, "Fuck this! This is extra work." I've cleaned up after a dog, helping an ex clean her Airbnbs. I'm like, you got 5 Airbnbs. Why the fuck are we cleaning them all? Like, get your goddamn cleaners to do this. And I'm like, I want to support you, to care about you, but not this much. Like, stop being cheap. Fucking get your cleaners to do this. But yeah, no, I've cleaned up after the dog, so I know what I'm saying in that regard.
Yeah.
But a service dog, whether or not they're going to use your front mat as a chew toy, don't know. No idea. Well, on that note, buddy, I better hit the hay because body's hurting, eyes are shutting, and I get up tomorrow. So
Yeah. Yeah, good chat though. Yeah, I'll see you next time probably.
yeah, I hope so. Take care.
Yeah. Later.
Bye, buddy.